kind enough to join us here on this very busy Monday. I'm sure he was very busy taking notes and taking everything down as the host of the McShay Show, and he writes on the Ringer, and his stuff today is must read. He's Todd McShay back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, Todd. How are you, sir?
What's happening, Rich?
What do you think?
You should have the round of applause, man. Awesome job again.
Oh,
awesome
yeah,
job.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well done, Rich.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
DJ was okay too.
Yeah, yeah, right, Todd. Yeah. I thank you. I appreciate it. We love doing it. We've got a lot to work with and people that work behind the scenes to make it all work. So thank you for that. What's your takeaway? What's your big takeaway from the combine, Todd?
This 2026 draft class sucks, right? It's just not a good group.
Right. That was it going in. That's what we heard. And then I'm sitting there.
Hey, Washington, D.C. next year. We got the lawn. We get all the quarterback.
Right.
It was record after record. You guys did an amazing job of just accounting for what was going on in every position group. And it kind of kicked off with Caleb Banks, right? Who checks in with the largest wingspan of any defensive tackle in like 25 years. And then he runs out, a 5.040 at 327 pounds.
Insane.
And then it kept going. How about the two things I loved, right? The position groups where you had guys butting heads. First of all, the teammates with Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. And their names are, because their last names are so close, it's like, all right, I'm going to run a 4.47. He runs a 4.46, like back and forth between those two. And then we get to the tight ends and Kenyon Sadiq runs the 4.39. And meanwhile, you got Thieneman who's setting records in the jumps. It was just awesome to watch, man. The whole weekend, where in a draft class that's getting a lot of heat for where are the quarterbacks? There's no blue guys at the top, no blue chippers. To see them set records both individually and as a group throughout the weekend, it just made for a lot of fun.
Yeah, after the defensive linemen and linebackers worked out, Sonny Styles, one of the most impressive workouts I've seen in my 22 combines, and then Reese and David Bailey doing what they're doing. You also mentioned the defensive tackle group being just spectacular. I turned to Daniel Jeremiyah, and I'm like, no doubt the second overall pick in the draft worked out on this field tonight. And he goes, yep. So what do you think the Jets' decision is now that we just saw all those workouts, obviously pro days, free agency to come, but what do you think the Jets' decision to 2 looks like right now?
You know what's interesting, Rich? I think you'll appreciate this. I have a lot of conversations. We had like 6 GMs on the show this week and talking to personnel directors and other GMs. It was this common theme. We talked about a lot of different players and different things going on, but there was one theme that kind of carried over in every conversation I had, is that what makes this year so unique is there are some very clear blue chip talent players in the top of this draft, and none of them are at positions that we typically want to spend a top 5 pick on. Mm-hmm. We've got Jeremiyah Love, who I believe is the best player in the entire class. Sonny Styles goes out and does what he does. And Caleb Downs didn't work out, and it doesn't have the measurables that you'd like to see from an elite talent, but like he just is. And then Venga, I always have to remind myself, I want a Hall of Fame guard.
Nice.
Is basically how I remind myself.
Nice.
Those are really like, if you really talk to people in the league, those are the best players in this draft. But it's a guard, it's a safety, it's an off the ball linebacker, and it's a running back. So you get to the Jets too, and that's why I brought this up. Everyone in the league kind of agrees with this, and everyone is saying the right thing right now. You don't pass up on a Hall of Fame player because you need something at a premium position. But the Jets, they just gave up Jermaine Johnson in a trade, and they clearly want to bring in an edge, and you'd like to draft an edge rusher with that pick. David Bailey's a great edge rusher, but can he defend the run, and what about his lateral agility? Ruben Bain obviously is a short-armed edge who's an awesome player and was dominant throughout the college football playoff. Arvell Reese is one GM said he's a cyborg.
Yep.
But if you don't have a plan for him, he is a heck of a lot better going up the field than he is turning and running. And so I guess I'm getting to all this and saying, is it truly positionless football now on the defensive side? Because if it is, Sonny Styles is the one of the top 2 or 3 players in this draft, and he's better and higher graded, and his measurables just match up. And by the way, I had multiple GMs say something along the lines of, this guy's going to run his own business, his own company one day. He's like the all-time character guy, Sonny Styles. And so now you get 6'5", you get 244. You've got this elite workout from top to bottom. I mean, just looking at his numbers, it was insane. He's 43.5-inch vertical, combine record for height and speed, or height and position. 11.2 broad jump, best. 4.46, tied for best with Reese. 1.56 in his 10. So, and if you look at the analytics on it, he didn't blitz and rush the passer as much. But there's almost no difference between when he did in the production in terms of pressures and sacks compared to Arvell Reese. Now, Reese is going to be an edge. Sonny's not going to be. But as an overhang who can turn and run and cover and also can come after the quarterback, I don't know. I think everyone's going to say edge with that pick, but I think the Jets have a decision to make. Do we take the player with the higher grade, which I believe is Sonny Styles, or do we take Arvell Reese or David Bailey, who we want as an edge rusher?
Todd, I'm with you, man. This whole business of don't take a safety that high. You know, what are you going to tell Caleb Downs, pound sand because you're not supposed to take a safety that high when it is positionless football? I mean, take a look at Derwin James. Take a look at Kyle Hamilton. Take a look at Christian Gonzalez, just to name some. Nick Eamon-Wari, right? You can put these guys in different spots. You can use them in different situations. If they're the best player, then go ahead and grab them. And I feel the same way about Jeremiyah Love, Todd. He's 6 foot, running Jahmyr Gibbs 40-yard dash time at 6 foot.
It was like 14, 15 pounds heavier and running. Come on.
Right. And
you know what was more impressive to me?
Then you meet him, you know.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, and the drive he has, the focus he has. I mean, people were heaping praise, both Jeremiyah Love and Sonny Styles. Like, these guys are different, man. You got to spend some time with them. They're just so, but to me, Jeremiyah Love, I mean, that number's awesome, right? He runs the 40 and we get the official number. And it's like, wow. When you start doing the historical context and with Jahmyr Gibbs and the fact that he's got the size on Gibbs, but which is, 15 pounds heavier, ran the same time. But the wide receiver stuff, the routes, catching the ball. Now, and another GM I talked to he said, this draft is going to force you as a GM and a decision maker in that draft weekend to be really in line with your coordinators. Because if there's a plan there and with a plan, you can maximize value. With a plan for Sonny Styles, he's worth a top 5 pick. Jeremiyah Love, like, the obvious plan is we're going to get him touches both as a receiver and as a runner. And so if you have a system and a coordinator who's in lockstep with the value that you see in this individual, now you've got something. Listen, the Jets are going to take a defensive player, and the Raiders at 1 are going to take Fernando Mendoza. 3, 4, and 5 are interesting to me. I don't see Jeremiyah Love getting out of the top 5. I think he could absolutely go to Arizona at 3. I think if he's not the 3rd pick to the Cardinals, I think he will be the 4th pick to the Titans. And if they surprise me, I still think the Giants could take him at 5. He's not getting out of the top 5.
I don't think so either. And I think Sonny Styles not getting out of the top 10 anymore. And I understand that there are 2 really talented linemen here on the offensive side of the ball. You know, Downs, Tate. I don't care what he ran. That doesn't matter to me.
Who are the two offensive linemen? Just curious.
I don't know. I think
Bowino and Fon, because I think Freeling's in that mix.
No, I think screw the fact that he plays guard. You mentioned Ioane is Ioane is he's amazing. I don't care that he's an interior player. You know what I mean? Like again, I don't do this for a living, all 22. My job isn't dependent on whether they're terrific or not. But he's amazing. He's big. He's also a good dude. These guys are all clean off the field, it appears, on top of it, everybody that we just mentioned. So I think all bets are off. I don't care if it's a guard or a safety or, a running back. if they can change the game for you, if they can change everything for you, if they can unlock wins for you on the spot, you got to take them.
Yeah, and I even to go into the offensive line stuff, like Fano's an awesome player.
He was great too.
The three cone, the energy. Stacey Dales was awesome, by the way, too. No offense, she might have been MVP. He was just awesome throughout the week.
We all agree.
But just watching him and like the energy he brings and his love for the game, and then like the shuttles and the 40 and all the athletic traits. But he's got 32 and an 1/8 inch arm, I think is what it was, and you see him taking snaps to center. So maybe you wind up with another Linderbaum. And is that the worst thing in the world?
Nope.
But the argument that was being made, or the conversations I was having with decision makers, was Maui Noa is a great player. He might have to kick into guard. Fano is a great player. He might have to kick into center. So why wouldn't I just take the guard that I know is going to be, it could be a Hall of Fame type level guard in Ioane and just move on. So I mean, we could. If everyone in the league stayed true, which we know won't happen, it would be Mendoza 1, and then some order of Ioane, Downs, Styles, and Love rounding out the top 5. It's not going to happen. But honestly, like, those are the conversations. It's interesting how they are now. And then let's fast forward to when the pressure starts to build in late April, and everyone's looking at, can we really take a guard at 4 or 5,
Yeah, you can. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can. But again, I understand what the hallmark positions are. Defensive end, clearly, quarterback. I get it. I understand tackles, all of that business. But I saw some really talented kids here over the weekend. Todd McShay here on the Rich Eisen Show. Where are you on the second quarterback? Where are you on
Ty
that?
Simpson? Ty Simpson all day long.
He was spinning really nicely. I thought he looked the part, Todd, but the question is where? Where do you have him landing? What do you think?
I'm in the camp that the gap between he and Mendoza is not nearly as big as the public seems to think.
Okay.
Although I understand it. And it's much greater between Simpson and QB 3. Specifically, if you were kind of dropped into this as an NFL coach, right? And you were handed the first 8 or even 9 tapes for both Mendoza and Simpson, I promise you Simpson's tape's better. It just is. Now, Simpson's 6'1". He's 211 pounds. He's got 15 starts. And his 1 year as a starter, he wasn't able to stay healthy throughout the year. So let's dig a little deeper into it. What happened from games about 10, 11 on? Offensive line, the protections were kind of figured out by Brent Venables in that first game, and it didn't get better as the season went on. They were copycat in terms of, all right, we figured out the tendencies, so we're going to get more pressure on Ty. Running game was 126th in the nation, I think it was, which is like, you can't even fathom that if you're an Alabama fan. Then you've got your star wide receiver, just disappears. Ryan Williams came into recruiting. It was him and Jeremiyah Smith were like 1A, and Ryan Williams can't catch the ball. Confidence, he's gone. And so the hits start to pile up, and the injuries and the beating that he's taking, and gastritis, I think it is, down to 190 pounds by the time the Rose Bowl came along. So listen, they're all excuses, and it is what it is. But if you're looking for the best of Ty Simpson versus the best of Mendoza, I don't see it as a huge gap. Now, Mendoza's tape wasn't great versus Iowa until the end when they needed it. His tape versus Oregon the first time around wasn't great till the end, needed it. Penn State threw that pick in the early fourth quarter, I think it was, then leads them down to that, and then keeps getting better, and the confidence is growing. And then you get to know the young man, and you understand, like, football is everything, his brain, the way he processes, the things he doesn't know or was not asked to do in college, you believe strongly he's going to be able to pick up on that. So I understand why there is a gap between the two, and there's a lot more questions about Simpson than there are about Mendoza. But I think we as nationally, like media-wise or whatever you want to call it, I think it's been a little bit of a disservice in that it's just Mendoza and, like, who else is QB2? Like, it's so clear-cut. And there's starting to be talk I've heard this morning talk about maybe he goes to Cleveland at 6. I don't want him to go to Cleveland. I think that would be a death sentence to Ty Simpson. I want him to go to the Rams if you're polling for the individual and what's best for his future. But I think it's closer to the Rams than people thought in terms of 13, not 29.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I kind of feel like, though, the Rams are going to hold off on finding the replacement in this year's draft, and
I'm not saying he's going there.
No, I got it. That's the only reason I bring it up is it's going to be tough. At least DJ seems to feel this way, and I sit next to him more than I've been able to sit next to you. Is he keeps on talking about finding it difficulty to find somebody who's going to pull the trigger on Simpson towards the end of the first round, right? So he might be a second-round guy at the end of the day.
I'd take that bet.
You think he'll be a first-rounder? That's what you think?
I would be absolutely shocked if Ty Simpson's not a first-round pick. Yeah.
I keep thinking the Rams are just going to sit back, keep on loading up with Stafford still there, ride Stafford as long as possible, and then at some point, you and I both know, Todd, I think there's going to be an NBA-type rush of quarterbacks who are in their current spots, and if they don't win it there over the next year or two, they're going to force a trade, NBA-style, wanting to be the next McVay quarterback for the next 5-10 years of their careers and make the Hall of Fame.
I could absolutely see that.
And I'd play that out if I were the Rams. But before I run out of time with you, give me the gems. Who are the gems that come out of the combine that you think can make a team mid-round, first round, late first round? What do you think, Todd? Who are the gems?
There's a bunch of them. I mean, Jeff Caldwell just blew my socks off, and I got to dig deeper into his tape because there's like the good Lord only makes so many guys like Caldwell, and he's a 6'5" plus receiver and running the way he did, 6'5", 216 pounds, ran a 4.31, jumping through the roof. Like, that's a special talent that I'm intrigued to see more of. Okay. Sam Roush is a player that I've loved for a while, the tight end from Stanford. And what I loved about it too, like in Sam Roush style, like it just completely got, I'm not saying this is a slight on you guys, but I think like nationally it kind of got overlooked because you had Sadiq and you had Stowers and the 40s and all that. Sure. But if you go look at his RAS or whatever you follow in terms of like the height, the weight, all like adjusted, and what he did, he had a 38.5-inch vertical. He's 6'6", 267 pounds. Best blocking tight end in the class. 9'11" in the broad, 4'7", which you say, well, 4'7", that's not great. But at that size, I think Sam Roush is a diamond in the rough. The other guy that I've really started to come around on, and he wasn't at the Senior Bowl. He had a teammate at UCF who was an edge rusher at the Senior Bowl, a real long guy. But Malachi Lawrence from UCF,
he was awesome. He had a hell of a workout, man. He was great.
He's 6'4" and change, 253, second best vertical, best broad, second best 40, second best 10. I mean that, and the best part is I just got done watching his tape, and he was at the East-West Shrine game. He can actually rush the quarterback. So this is a guy who's going to be top 100 pick, who I think has been slept on for way too long.
You're the man, Todd. Thanks for the time. Look for more of my calls. Hey, let's do this more often. I love chopping it up with you, and I'm with you. You go in your certainly again because I'm not the all 22. I'm not grinding tape like you. I heard what I heard about this draft. I'm like, okay, I'll try and make some lemonade over 4 days of broadcasting, and one after the other. After that, I'm like, holy cow! Like who thinks this draft isn't filled with players?
It's wild.
Crap.
They did the work for us.
They did. They certainly did. Todd, thanks for the time, man.
Take care, brother.
NFL draft analyst for The Ringer and The McShay Show. Check it all out on The Ringer. Todd McShay here on the program. That was just dynamite. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.